Being a real estate agent can be tough. It's a constant flow of chasing new deals, chasing new leads, chasing apartments to sell, and even in some markets, we're chasing buyers. It's an exhausting, never-ending game of chasing day in and day out. But there's one solution to all of this that I'm going to talk about today. And the problem here is that if you are in a constant flow of chasing, you will eventually burn out, and that is not a good place to be at. And the biggest problem here is that when you are in a constant flow of chasing and you get too few leads, you don't have enough apartment to sell, you don't have enough listings, you kind of like start operating in a way where you activate something that I call for a survival mode. And that is just a part of being human. If you are in a place where you don't have enough leads, you're not selling enough apartments, you don't go on enough client meetings, like it just becomes this kind of like negative snowball effect, meaning that you kind of like start chasing and chasing and chasing even more. So you're just like, for each week and day that goes, you're just like, eventually you're going to run out of gas. And it's not a good place to be at. And it just becomes this kind of like survival mode, where another big negative effect that comes with it all is that you start to become more desperate, meaning that on client meetings, you kind of like operate from a place where you show them the energy and kind of like vibe that you need this deal more than they need it, like if you think of it in that way, which means that you become very desperate, and it's not a good place to be at, because it becomes this kind of like police interrogation, meaning that you're just being there at the client meeting, you try to prove yourself, and the kind of like overall vibe and feeling is just off. And I've been there myself. It's not a good place to be at, and especially in the beginning of my career, I just remember that being in a place where it's 100% commission, you have too few leads, you don't have enough apartments to sell, you don't have enough open showings. So you start to kind of like operate in this kind of like huge, desperate way of being. You kind of like see your colleagues doing these crazy numbers, and you're just there in a place where you're thinking for yourself, like, what am I doing wrong? And I'm very sure that many other agents have felt this same way, and it's not a good place to be at. And it's kind of just starts this kind of like negative snowball effect, as I talked about before. As I mentioned, I've been in situations where I've had months where I've sold 0 apartments, meaning that it's 100% commission, and if you sell 0 apartments in a month, it unfortunately also means that you have 0 paycheck. And being in a place where you have to pay the bills, you get like 0 income coming in, like that is not a good place to be at, and it's not a very fun place to be at as well. I'm sitting here and smiling, and it's just because I'm very lucky and fortunate to be at a place today where that is not the case anymore. But I just know that it can be very tough times, and the good thing is that there is a solution to all of this, and it's actually a better way out there, and that is to stop chasing and start attracting. And you might be thinking right now, okay, what am I thinking when I say those things, and what am I meaning? And from what I've observed in my almost 5 years as a real estate agent, and I've always almost been in the business for 8 years, is that the absolute best agents out there, they are not in a constant flow of chasing. They are in a place where they just start attracting the good things that they want in their life. And from my own observation and from what I've seen so far, the absolute best way of doing so is to start your personal brand and start building it in the right way. And it's the closest thing to a cheat code in today's modern world. And I've seen it over and over again that the people who build their personal brands in the right way, they aren't in a state of chasing. They are in a flow of just attracting. And it's a very good place to be. So if you compare this state I just mentioned before of chasing and all these negative things, now this is kind of like the solution where you start attracting and actually building a positive snowball effect. So you're just starting to attract the good things you want in life. And the easy answer to why it can be the case is because you're no longer, desperate. So you act in a way where you're kind of like the opposite. And if you know anything about psychology, the person who wants the deal the least are usually the person with the highest leverage, if you put it that way. So it works by you getting exposure and people seeing you and they seeing your content. And the best part with being in this kind of state is that you have built trust even before you walk into the door. So imagine yourself being in a place where the client meeting that you are going to have later this day are people that have been following you for years. And the thing that happened with those kind of like client meetings is that the dynamic is that they already trust you. And if we go back in time when I was a new agent, what happens there? They probably don't trust me. So the big problem here is that majority of the client meeting is spent on me proving myself. Like, why am I the best agent for them? So they're meeting me and maybe I don't know 2 other agents at least, and I'm just in a position where I have to prove myself because they don't trust me. So that is like the simple answer. And what happens then when you have built a strong personal brand in the right way is that when you are at their place, you're not operating in this kind of way because they already trust you, and that is partially the reason why you are at the place where you are and why you're sitting in front of them. And everything just comes this like great snowball effect, and there are countless of benefits that comes with this. And just to take an example of things that I witnessed myself, and it's actually a dream for most agents out there, and that is you have built the trust even before you walk in through the door, meaning that you're going to actually get a higher hit rate as a benefit of that. And what happens also when you get a higher hit rate is that you're going to be able to charge higher fees, because if they already trust you, they already know like what they're getting in some kind of way, meaning that they're much more certain of choosing you as their agent comparing to the other two that they have probably met, where those 2 agents, they don't have this strong personal brand, meaning that you're in a position where they trust you and they don't trust the other agents as much, meaning that you're the safe bet. And if you are a person like me, and if you're a human being on this planet, people pay more for certain options. So if you have a safe bet, people is going to pay more for choosing that and being comfortable with their choice. And there are countless of benefits as well. You're going to get more leads and stuff like that as a benefit of having a strong personal brand. So the conclusion here really is that you have to stop chasing and start to attract the things you want in life. Because if you are in a constant flow of still chasing, you're eventually going to burn out. And if you are in a place where you're starting to attract, you're starting to build your personal brand in the right way, you're just going to build a pipeline of trust and demand, and you're just going to have so much more smooth and nice life as an agent. And believe me, from just talking from my own experience, like, being in this state of attracting is so much more a better place to be at than in this kind of like bad state of just constantly chasing. And honestly, like, it's like night and day. I would say it's two different jobs when you operate in one of these kind of like states. And the best way moving forward is to being in the state where you attract things. From my own observation, it's just the absolute best way to get the things you want in life as a real estate agent, and growing your business as well. So yeah, start to become the agent that people already want to work with. So if you want to see more videos like this, please send this one to a fellow agent out there that you think might find this valuable. And don't forget to subscribe as well, so we can see each other in the next one.